Today I had a special encounter with a blind man who's catching the same angkot as me. And an angkot is basically a form of public transport in Indonesia. It's like a van, an open van. So you step in and then you step out whenever you need to, and then you pay the driver. And so this blind man was helped on the bus by another person. And I was sitting on the corner, actually opposite the door, and he was sitting beside the door. And he was completely blind. His left eye had no eyeball in the socket, and his right eye was completely white. And immediately there was this feeling in the angkot, and everybody was feeling very sympathetic towards this man, and including myself. I mean, I've seen these types of disabled people before, especially in Asia. Seeing them, most of them are begging for money or looking very miserable and whatnot. You get your typical disabled beggars and whatnot. But there was something about this man. He wasn't miserable and he wasn't sad. He was happy. He was content. And he didn't come on the angkot asking for money like a lot of beggars do. He minded his own business. He came for a ride. And there was two elderly women on the bus already, and one elderly man, and they immediately asked him questions like, where are you headed, do you need help, like they were trying to get to know him. It's typical in Indonesia to converse. It's not strange or anything like that. And so they started to ask him questions like, are you completely blind, and things like that. And yes, he said it, but he didn't say it in a in a miserable voice. He just said it as a matter of fact, like, yes, I am blind. I've been blind for many years, and it wasn't like a woe is me kind of attitude. It was more, this is what I am, and he accepted it. And there was something really humble about him that got me first. And he was a gentleman talking about his past and his life and everything about him. And when they asked him whether he misses being able to see and what he missed the most about being able to see, he said that he missed seeing people. And some people are tall and some people are short. Some people have long hair, some people have different colored hair. He wanted to see the differences in every single human being. Just the little details he was talking about. And that really jerked a tear in me. but, you know, I didn't start crying or anything yet. Also to mention that I was wearing a mask that day. Me and my cousin were wearing masks. They were, you know, the masks that prevent pollution from going towards your nose and your mouth. And he, the people on the bus asked him about his wife, and they said, where did your, where's your wife? Do you have a wife? And he said, yes, my wife passed away last year. And at that point, I did start to cry, but I was completely silent when he got on the bus, and I made no noise up until that point either. And I was, you know, I started to cry, but my mask was covering my face, and I was looking away. And then, but I was listening, and so he continued to talk about himself, and he said, I have no children, but I have plenty of nieces and nephews that look after me, and, you know, it just, he was so happy with his life. He, you know, he didn't try to make it sound like he was alone, or that he needed company. Like, he was happy with who he had in his life and who took care of him. And he talked about how he survives being blind, that he walks around barefoot and he feels the road, what feels familiar, he knows where he's walking, and usually he asks people to help him. And yeah, it really touched me to see how happy this man was, despite what's, you know, happening to him. He has you know, no wife, no children, and he has to make his way every day, you know, by himself. And to see him so humble and so proud of himself and so happy and content with his life was, it really made me feel very touched. And after all this storytelling, it had been like maybe 10-15 minutes, and suddenly he says, this is obviously all in Indonesian, and he says, the beautiful girl sitting in the corner in front of me, I know you've been staring at me since I first came in, but why are you so silent? I wonder what's on your mind. And at that point, everybody on the Angkor looked at me, and from not having paid attention to me at all, suddenly they noticed I was there, and I know that they thought that I was a foreigner, but so they probably just didn't include me in the conversation and whatnot. But yeah, when he said that, I was just frozen. I didn't know how to react. I mean, how did he see me? I wasn't making any noise. My cousin wasn't interacting with me. I was just hiding behind my mask. And at that point, I did remove my mask, and to reveal that I was crying quite a lot. And the people on the bus, you know, were shocked, and they said to my cousin, "Oh, like we thought she was a foreigner. She couldn't understand what was going on." And my cousin said, "No, like she understood, and she was crying, listening to his story." And at that point, you know, he said to me, you know, please don't cry for me, because, you know, I'm not sad. And just I didn't stop crying for quite a while, because I mean, just knowing that somebody that, you know, disadvantaged is so happy with himself, and um, it just restores your faith in humanity and in life. And for him, I don't understand how he noticed me. Everybody in the bus talked about it, like, after he left, and they were wondering, how on earth did he feel that I was there? And I really liked what we talked about after that man left, because these three others on the bus, they were Islam, and she said, one of the ladies said, uh, it's so touching to see you cry for this man, and you don't even know him, and you're just silent and just weeping for him. And she said, I don't care what religion you are, whether we are the same or we are not. If you respect, if you care for human beings like that, then I respect you as a human being. And we need, and like, I gave him money before he left, and it's just, we care about people like that, and that's why in moments like that, I feel like that's when religion really does not matter. It doesn't come in to that moment where, you either are good to people or you aren't. And in that moment, we were different religions, but we were there for that man, and we felt the same feelings towards that man. And I think that that's what's most important, because in the end, we're all human beings, and that's it. And yeah, like, I guess my holiday here has really opened my eyes in terms of religion, and how in the end we really are just human beings.